Okay, so today we're going to continue on the remaining parts of chapter 10. Okay, so just to remind, okay, the third test, test number 3, okay, is scheduled on the 9th of January. Okay, so it will cover topic 8, 9, and 10. So the first 3 topics of your macroeconomic syllabus. Okay, topic 8, whereby we learn on the unemployment, inflation, business cycle. Topic 9, we learn on the national income accounting, okay, the methods to calculate GDP, the income approach, expenditure approach, the production approach, okay, and then the third topic is topic number 10, the one that we are discussing today. Okay, so in terms of so you got 2 more tests, test 3 and test 4. Okay, so test 3 and test 4 will cover only the macro parts, okay, 8, 9, and 10 for quiz 3 for test 3, 11, 12, 13, and 14 for test number 4. So what I can say is that in terms of the level of difficulty, okay, in terms of which topic has more calculations, I can say that among all your macroeconomic topics, topic 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, the one that has most of the calculation will be topic number 10, the one that we are doing today. And maybe a bit of, and some on topic number 9, okay? So test 3, I think will be a bit tough, more tough in terms of you have some more calculations compared to the rest of the topics. Okay, so test 4 I think should be will be much easier compared to test number 3. But I'm not saying that it's not possible to score for test number 3. Okay, it's just that you need to do please pay attention to what we after we finish discussing our lecture for today. So I will discuss some past year's questions, okay, on this topic. And the most of the question will be quite similar in terms of what is needed for you to calculate. Okay, it can be a bit confusing at first, but once you get the idea of what is required, okay, so it should be okay, it should be quite easy once you get to understand the concept behind the national income equilibrium. Okay, so okay, the last class we discussed on so I will just go through very quickly on what we have done on national income equilibrium topic. Okay, so when we say about national income equilibrium, okay, we're talking about the equilibrium in the for the whole country. Okay, not just demand and supply for firms and individual. Okay, so we are talking about the when the country is in equilibrium. Okay, so we're talking about how much output that is produced, okay, is equal to how much money is being spent. Okay, something like that. Okay, so at your, I mean, in our syllabus we cover the two sector and also 3 sector economy. Okay, the 2 sector we don't involve the government, but for 2 sector we only cover which is income, Y, okay, which is equivalent to aggregate expenditure. So equilibrium is when income equals to expenditure. AE stands for aggregate expenditure. Okay, and for a 2 sector economy, okay, please bear in mind when we mention 2 sector, it means that the components in the Y is equal to consumption and investment. Okay, so and also in a 2 sector economy, the country is in equilibrium also when saving is equal to investment. S equals to I. Okay, S means saving, I means investment. Okay, so when S equals to I, we can also say that the country is in, because whatever money that is saved is being used for investment. Okay, so this is in a two-sector economy. Okay, but if you look at the three sector means we have government involvement. Okay, the government role in the economy. Okay, whereby in a three sector, the equilibrium will be C plus I plus G, consumption plus investment plus the G component here. So the G component is not here in a two-sector economy. Okay, but for a three-sector, equilibrium is achieved when income is equivalent to C plus I plus G. Okay, and also using the similar approach, the country is in equilibrium for a two-sector when saving is equal to investment, but for a three-sector, the equilibrium is achieved when saving plus tax, okay, is equal to investment plus government expenditure. S plus T equals to I plus G. So it's not too much for you to remember, okay, but just bear in mind that you need to know the difference between two sector versus three sector. So two sector C plus I, three sector C I plus G. And when in two sector, saving is equal to investment, the country is in equilibrium. If these two value is the same, if saving, let's say 100 billion, investment 100 billion, so you can say that the country is in equilibrium. The same goes to a three-sector economy. When saving plus tax, whatever that the money is being saved, plus the money collected by the government from tax is equivalent to investment value plus government expenditure. So when you achieve this, when S plus T equals to I plus G, we also say that the country in a three-sector economy is in equilibrium as well. Okay, so that is a simple presentation of two versus three sector economy. Okay, so this is what we mentioned just now, national income equilibrium for a three sector economy. I plus G, sorry, in a three sector economy, I plus G equals to S plus T. So this, whenever you see tax component or G, okay, automatically you are referring to a three sector because government involvement always in a three sector economy. Okay. So and in economy, I and G we call it injections because money going into the economy. With leakages or withdrawals, we refer to saving and tax. Why these two are withdrawal? Because when you pay tax, it goes out, okay, from your pocket to the government. Okay, so and also savings. Why saving is leakages? Because leakages means saving is withdrawal because when you put money in the bank, meaning you don't spend for the economy. Okay, but spending, government spending, government spend the money, so the money goes back into the economy. The same goes for investment. When a company make investment, okay, so the money goes back into the economy. So injection is money goes in, leakages, money goes out. So IG is injection, leakages is S plus T. Okay, so this is, if you recall from chapter 9, okay, the expenditure approach. Okay, C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Okay, so go back to chapter 9. So we already discussed this. The component of national income accounting, okay, the expenditure approach, consumption plus investment plus G plus net export, which is X minus M. So if you check our previous discussion on the past year question, we have something like a question on this topic as well. Okay, and then we also discussed last class on consumption function. Okay, consumption function means C equals to autonomous consumption. Okay, consumption that is not depend on the level of income. A plus B, which is the B, what we call as MPC, marginal propensity to consume. Okay, multiply by YD. YD means disposable income. Okay, so we discussed on this equation also on last Monday lecture. Okay, so this is a very important concept that you need to remember. Whenever we mention about consumption function, the equation is always CA plus BYD or BY. Okay, you can call it YD, or you can some book just use Y. Okay, but the correct would be YD. YD means disposable income. Okay, A is autonomous consumption. Okay, so means that when income is zero, you still spend, meaning this spending maybe comes from your saving, or you borrow money from the bank. Okay, so it's always the country will still have some level of consumption, although the income is equal to zero. Okay, so B is the MPC. We also discussed this, how much the increase in consumption given $1 increase in your income. Okay, so that is, so remember this equation, C equals to A plus B YD. Okay, and then we discussed about MPC. Okay, and also okay, so first you have the consumption function. Second, you have the saving function, which is S equals to negative A plus 1 minus B YD. Okay, so this is, if you compare between the consumption function, okay, versus the saving function, okay, here. So you will be using both of these functions, okay, in order to find what is the level of saving. Okay, if you are given the MPS or MPC. Okay, recall again, MPC is the value of B here. Okay, so usually, in any questions that you will see in past year's questions or in your exercises, the value of MPC will be given to you. It's not that you need to calculate MPC. Okay, MPC is given. So once you know the value of MPC, but you can also calculate MPC manually if you know how much is the changes in income and what is the changes in consumption. Okay, so because MPC is just the slope of the equation here. Okay, just the slope of this equation. Okay, mathematically, okay, if you use uh, in a linear graph, okay, in your secondary school, I'm sure you learn y equals to wait, y equals to mx plus c, correct? This is a standard line linear graph. Okay, mx plus c means c is the constant, m is the gradient, okay, or the slope of the y function here. So how do you calculate m, or the slope? Okay, so the slope is, you calculate as a function of changes in y divided by changes in x. Okay, so that will be the slope of the value of the m lah, which is the gradient. So the same thing here. Okay, C equals to A plus BYD. So B, which is the what we call the slope of the consumption function, we call it MPC, marginal propensity to consume. So if this value is not given, so how do you know how to calculate? Also, how do you calculate MPC, or the slope of the consumption function? Okay, MPC or B. Okay, which is what you see here, MPC or the B here, which is basically equals to changes in your consumption divided by changes in income. Meaning, how much does your how much will your consumption change given the change in your income? Okay, so change in consumption divided by change in income. So this will be basically how you calculate the slope here, MPC. Okay, and we also know that MPC, the value will be between 0 to 1. Okay, and also we discussed last class. Okay, once you know MPC, okay, once you know MPC, so MPS plus MPC will also equals to 1. Okay, MPS is 1 minus MPC. Okay, so what is MPS? Marginal propensity to save. So MPC is derived from consumption function. MPS is derived from saving function. So where is the saving function just now? Okay, this one. So this is your saving function. Okay, so if you compare between the saving function and also consumption function just now is C equals to A plus B YD, correct? Okay, which is B is the MPC. So B here is your MPC, marginal propensity to consume, or basically it's just the slope of the consumption function, but the term given to B is MPC. Okay, and the value of MPC is between 0 to 1 because the slope cannot be more than 1. Okay, so it can be 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.4, as long as not exceeding not exceeding 1. Okay, and at the same time, the saving function, okay, because we know that saving is equal to income minus consumption here. Okay, income minus consumption. So whatever the money that you don't spend, you end up saving. Okay, so saving function is given as negative A. If you recall, consumption function is positive A, what we call as autonomous consumption. Okay, but for saving function, the autonomous value becomes negative because if the money that you borrow to spend becomes a borrowing in the saving function, so that's why the value here is negative. Okay, because when income is 0, you spend something, what we call autonomous consumption. So the money that you get, although when the income is 0, is called autonomous consumption. But when you put the value of A in the form of saving, so that's why you put here as negative, because the money may come from borrowing, okay, from pinjaman or from your loan. So A, autonomous consumption in the consumption function becomes negative A in the saving function, plus 1 minus B. So 1 minus B, if you recall, B is the MPC. So, and we know that MPC, okay, plus MPS must always equals to 1. Okay, because marginal propensity to consume plus marginal propensity to save must always equals to 1. So when you construct the consumption function, which is B is the MPC, okay, and opposite of consumption is saving. So saving is negative A, okay, which is similar to A here, but when you put into saving, this become negative. Okay, 1 minus B. Why 1 minus B? Because MPS and MPC, when you add both, it must always equals to 1. So when you have the value of MPC B, so the value of MPS, okay, so 1 minus B is basically your MPS, okay, marginal propensity to save, multiplied by YD. So why I'm showing this equation, I'm highlighting this equation again, because sometimes you are required to calculate what is the savings level given the value of, sometimes you only given the value of MPC, okay, you are given the value of MPC, not MPS, but you know that once you know MPC, you can calculate MPS as well, because MPS is 1 minus MPC. So if you are given the value of MPC, okay, you are given the value of income, you can calculate what is the value of saving. Okay, so that is so these two equations just now, okay, consumption function, A is the autonomous value, autonomous consumption value, B is your MPC, okay, marginal propensity to consume. Okay, how do you calculate MPC? Changes in consumption divide by changes in income. Change in C divide by change in Y, because that is what MPC means. Okay, if you go back to our lecture on last Monday. Okay, so here, this is the other slide. That, okay, we have two slides that I upload in your online platform. Okay, so that is what we discussed last Monday. Okay, for every 100 billion or 1 billion change in income, what will be the changes in consumption? So that is, so let's stick to the Arnold the other slide first. So consumption function, and then you also have the saving function. Okay, so just focus on these two first. Okay, so if you know the value of your income, if you know your MPS or MPC, okay, MPS is minus B, MPC is B. So if you know MPC, you can calculate MPS. So this value is your MPS. So if you know MPS, if you know your income level, if you know plus the autonomous consumption value, you can calculate what is your saving value. Okay, so recall that when we start in this diagram just now, we have two sector and also three sector. Okay, so two sector, we don't involve government spending yet. Okay, only consumption and investment. Okay, so so far what we are discussing is only on the two sector economy. Okay, so when you plot the diagram, so if you recall the consumption function graph, okay, like this, C equals to A plus BYD. Okay, A is your autonomous consumption. So the value is always positive because the money is being spent into the economy. But vice versa, when you plot the saving function, A becomes negative. Why? Because of course, the equation is negative A plus 1 minus BYD. Okay, but why A is negative? Because when you see from the saving perspective, okay, the value will start at negative because the money that you spend when income is zero, the money might come from borrowing. So borrowing is not saving. Okay, so saving is whatever money that you have after you why my income minus consumption, you get saving. But when you start at negative, meaning the money might come from borrowing. So the graph looks very similar to consumption graph. Okay, the only difference is that the A is positive in consumption function, but for saving function, it will start from negative. So the y-axis saving here is your income. Okay, so this is the same thing. Saving equals to y minus consumption, income minus consumption. Okay, so put that in your mind first. Okay, so this is the okay income minus consumption, you get saving lah. Okay, just a simple approach here. So we also discussed this last Monday. Okay, this component is when okay why you draw the 45-degree line. Okay, when the two lines intersect, we achieve equilibrium. Okay, okay, income equals to consumption C plus I. This is only for a two-sector economy. Okay, at this point, when the two lines intersect, okay, the country is in equilibrium. So that is the purpose when you draw your 45-degree line. Okay, so APC and APS is just the same thing. APC plus APS must always equals to 1 as well. Okay, but most of the focus come from MPC and MPS. Okay, MPS is 1 minus MPC. So this 1 minus MPC is what you see here lah, 1 minus B. Okay, because B just now refers to MPC, marginal propensity to consume. So 1 minus B is here lah, 1 minus MPC or 1 minus B is the same thing. Okay, so that is one part. Okay, and then okay, so you can use this. Look at this example, the simple example, income minus consumption, you get saving lah. Okay, so the second part of the lecture, okay, continue from our last Monday, okay, is on the topic of multiplier. Okay, okay, so just now we start on the two sector economy. Okay, if you recall again, okay, we have two sector plus three sector economy. So whenever you talk about three sector, you must involve government spending, and also the component of tax will appear. Okay, in a two sector economy, equilibrium is achieved when income equals to aggregate expenditure, and in a two sector economy, this also represents saving equals to investment in a two sector. But in a three sector, saving plus tax equal to I plus G. This will be, the country is in equilibrium when saving plus tax collection equals to investment plus government expenditure in a three sector economy. So the second part of our lecture today, okay, focuses on the three sector economy, okay, national income equilibrium. When we look at three sector economy, okay. So first, okay, so this is you can go through this. Okay, this slide, right? Okay, so next we talk about investment. Okay, so investment, it can be the term autonomous investment is the value is constant. The word autonomous means the value does not change. Okay, so an increase in investment. So this is basically just to introduce the concept of investment. Okay, so investment is money going into the economy. Is an injection. If you recall just now, injection versus leakages. Okay, the concept of injection versus leakages just now. Tadi, yeah, this one. So investment and ING is what we call injection, meaning money going into the economy. Okay, so here uh, we just want to, okay, first whenever the country has investment, okay, the value of the uh, output Y, okay, the value of GDP will also increase. Okay, so that is okay. So in a two sector economy, AE is equal to C plus I, consumption plus investment, C plus I. Okay, so we already discussed this just now. Okay, so okay, we also look at this graph just now. Okay, so the 45-degree line represents your total production, which is Y, or we can also call it aggregate demand. Okay, and then you have the TE, total expenditure, which is C plus I. So when the two lines intersect, we call it equilibrium point at E2 here. So E2 here is the equilibrium, the national equilibrium. Okay, not at Y1. Okay, so Y1 we don't include investment yet. So if you recall just now, we mentioned about investment. Investment is a constant value. Okay, autonomous investment. So when you add investment into the function, okay, C equals to A plus BYD. So we know that this is the consumption function. Okay. At the same time, we also know that in a two-sector economy, so please remember, in a two-sector economy, AE or total expenditure is equals to C plus I. So where does C plus I comes from? So again, okay, we go back here. Consumption plus investment. In a two-sector economy, equilibrium or output is achieved when consumption plus investment. And we know that consumption function just now is A plus BYD. Okay, B is the MPC, Y is your disposable income. Okay, so using Y equals to C plus I in a two-sector economy, so, okay, so C plus A plus BYD is the consumption function, and you add investment into the function, so you arrive at TE, total expenditure, C plus I. So when this orange line intersect with the 45-degree line, the 45-degree line is what we call the output line, okay, the income Y or the aggregate demand curve, okay, AD or Y, okay, so these are all the same. Okay, you can call it TP, total production. You can call it output Y, or you can also call it aggregate demand. So when 45-degree line intersect with the total expenditure, TE or TE, so we call it, so E2 is the equilibrium point lah. Okay, so the Y axis is the value of consumption, investment. The X axis is always about your output. So equilibrium is achieved at this point lah. Okay, so you can look at this diagram here, a simple depiction of C plus I, okay, equals to Y here. So equilibrium is achieved when Y, the aggregate output, equivalent to C plus I, 500. Okay, so there is no, so this is the equilibrium point lah. Okay, so you can also look at this simple mathematics. You know that Y equals to C plus I. At the same time, the consumption function is A plus BYD. Okay, A is your autonomous consumption. B, okay, 0. So what you see here, 0.75. 0.75 here is your MPC, marginal propensity to consume, MPC. Okay, so if 0.75 is your MPC, so your MPS will be, if MPC here, okay, is equals to 0.75, okay, so MPS will be 0.25. Okay, so this is what you see here. So this is the consumption function. C equals to A plus BYD. A is your, so 100 is autonomous consumption. 0.75 here is your MPC, which is 0.75. So from this, you can find MPS is 0.25. Okay, because MPS is 1 minus B, or 1 minus MPC. Okay, so this simple calculation here, okay, how do you calculate the national, how do you calculate the Y value? Because you know that in a two-sector economy, Y is C plus I. So you know that, so I 25, this 25 is the autonomous investment just now. It's also a constant. So 100 plus 0.75 plus I 25, then you can solve for Y equals to 500, okay, which is the same as what you see in this simple diagram just now lah. Okay, here. Okay, so let's move on to the concept of in a three-sector economy. Okay, so first, okay, so just now I also mentioned that equilibrium is achieved when saving equals to investment. Okay, where did I mention this? Earlier in the slide just now, in the simple diagram, okay, whereby you can see that the equilibrium is achieved when saving equals to investment in a two-sector economy. Okay, remember, S equals to I is only for a two-sector economy. For a three-sector is S plus T. Okay, so when saving is equal to investment, the country is at equilibrium here. So please highlight this point here. S equals to I, the country is in equilibrium. So when you plot the equilibrium, the saving function, negative A, okay, you recall A in consumption function is positive, saving function is negative A, plus 1 minus BYD. So 1 minus B is your MPS, okay, marginal propensity to save, okay, because this is saving function, plus multiplied by income. So when saving is intersect with autonomous investment here, the investment line, so Y2 is the equilibrium output here, okay. So this value of Y2 is basically the same as what you see here, here, Y2 here, okay. So when PE intersect with the Y line, the 45-degree line, Y2 here is also the same as when you use saving and investment function. Okay, so both, you can use two approach, okay, whether S equals to I, or when you can use the AD, the Y equals to the apa tu, AE graph just now. Okay, so okay, and then you can, okay, so this is a simple example here. Calculate the equilibrium income and sketch a diagram to show this. Of course, you don't need to sketch, okay, using multiple choice question concept test, okay. But if you were to plot, okay, you can just use the simple graph like this, okay, to plot. Okay, so you know that equilibrium is achieved when saving is equals to investment. Okay, so consumption is equals to 140 plus 0.6. So recall 0.6 here is your MPC. So MPS will be 0.4. Okay, so Y equals to C plus I. So you can calculate what is the level of output. Okay, you can solve Y equals to 725 here. Okay, so the 45-degree line, which is Y or the aggregate demand, when intersect with the aggregate expenditure AE. Okay, so C plus I here, okay, is basically equals to your AE lah. Okay. Okay, is equals to AE. Okay, so when Y intersect with AE function, so this is your equilibrium point 725. So because the question just now, you need to sketch a diagram to show this. So this can be shown here. Okay, the Y, the 45-degree line intersect with your aggregate expenditure C plus I. So you can show that the E or the intersection point equals to 725. Okay, so that is okay, on the two-sector economy. Okay. Okay, next I want to highlight, we want to start on the three-sector economy. Okay, whereby we involve government expenditure. Okay, so in a three-sector economy, okay, so the function now becomes C plus I plus G. Okay, so C plus I plus G. Aggregate expenditure is equal to consumption plus investment plus G. Okay, in a two-sector economy, AE is only equivalent to C plus I. Okay, but in a three-sector economy, AE now is C plus I plus G. Okay, this top part here, okay, you recall that usually we only discuss C equals to A plus BY or BYD. Okay, but how to get YD? YD is basically Y minus tax, because YD is disposable income. Disposable income means income after tax. So if you want to see how YD is calculated, it's basically Y minus tax lah. Okay, so this is if you want to involve, if you know what is the value of the tax, then you can calculate the value of YD. Okay, so it depends on the question. If the question provides value of tax, then you can calculate what is your disposable income, YD, this YD component here. So if not, the Y will just be given to you. So whenever you are dealing with a three-sector economy, okay, so whenever you're dealing with a three-sector economy, okay, the three-sector means you have the component of tax, you also have the component of government expenditure. Okay, so that is what a three-sector economy is. Okay, and then when you plot the graph, it still looks the same. The 45-degree line, your Y, okay, so this one supposed to be AD, okay, not AE. Okay, the aggregate demand line, okay, intersect with your AE, but now AE now is C plus I plus G. Okay, why? Because this is a three-sector economy. Okay, in a two-sector economy just now, in the previous one, AE is only equals to C plus I. Okay, this one lah. So we just want to, show the difference between, okay, C plus I. This is a two-sector economy. Okay, but when you involve government into the sector, into the economy, okay, we call it a three-sector economy, which is Menteri. Sorry. Okay. Okay. AE is C plus I plus G. Okay. So the economy is in equilibrium when, okay, Y equals to C. So your income is equal to C plus I plus G. And at the same time, we recall in the early part, injection is investment plus government expenditure, ING, leakage or money going out or withdrawal, S plus T. Okay. So equilibrium is achieved when S plus T equals to I plus G. So this is only for a three-sector economy. Okay, so recall. So I already shown you this part here in the beginning of the lecture. Okay, so in a three-sector economy, the aggregate demand, the 45-degree line, intersect with your AE function. Okay, and we call it as equilibrium point lah. Okay, when C plus I plus G, okay, intersect with the 45-degree line. Okay, so what I want to focus here, basically this is what we've been discussing before. Okay, so and at the same time, okay, just now we recall that equilibrium is when saving plus tax equals to investment plus government expenditure in a three-sector economy. In a two-sector economy, it will be saving is equal to investment, S equals to I, correct? This one. Okay, saving equals to investment. Tadi saving equals to investment. Yeah, this one. Okay, saving equals to investment. Here at equilibrium, saving will be equal to investment. So this is for a two-sector economy. Okay, but so I just want you to know the difference in 2 versus 3 because you will be tested on these two concepts. Two-sector saving equilibrium is when saving equals to investment or S equals to I. But when you involve government expenditure in a three-sector economy, okay, in the equilibrium is achieved when, okay, is achieved when, tadi, okay, is achieved when uh, S plus T is equals to I plus G. Okay, this one lah. The value of, okay, the saving plus tax line is equal to I plus G line. So I plus G is a horizontal line because both are constant value, but saving plus tax line, okay, so is an output sloping line. So YE, the equilibrium point here, okay, is the equilibrium point, the same thing that you see here. So this value of YE, the national output, so you can plot, you can see the equilibrium from two angle. One angle is when you plot the Y line, the 45-degree line versus the aggregate expenditure line. Okay, this is from one perspective. One way to visualize the equilibrium of a country is using this graph, or you can also see the equilibrium of the country using saving S plus T and also I plus G, because why T and G is here, because you're talking about a three-sector economy. So basically, it's still the same thing. The value of YE that you find here will be the same as the value of YE that you see here. Okay, so the only difference is that this is a three-sector. You have the G component here in the AE. In a two-sector, AE is only equal to C plus I. When you put the G, it becomes a three-sector economy. And you can also get the same value of Y when you plot S plus T graph intersect with the I plus G graph. Okay, so I plus G is always a flat line. Okay, so this is okay, so you can calculate what is the Y value. Okay, if you recall that C is 100, so 100 is autonomous consumption again, 0.8 is the MPC, YD is disposable income. So you recall just now, YD is Y minus tax, okay, Y minus T. So you can calculate using this one, C plus I plus G, and you know that YD is Y minus T, income tolak tax, income minus tax. So you can solve for Y equals to 1850 using all of the values given, okay, from the information. Okay, so this is one part of the so how to calculate equilibrium using C plus I plus G. So given all of the information, okay, you can calculate what is the Y value. So you might be tested on something like this. You are given the consumption function I, G, and T and calculate your Y. Okay, so as long as you know this simple equation here, okay, you can solve for this. Okay, and then, okay, I don't want to go on this slide. Okay, I want to bring you to the last part of the lecture in topic number 10 on multiplier. So what is multiplier? Multiplier is the increase, okay, changes or increase and or decrease in output is greater than the initial change. Okay, okay, for example, if you put $1 in the bank, okay, or for example, if you spend 10 ringgit today, okay, and 10 ringgit goes into the economy, okay, if, for example, you buy something from a shop, you spend 10 ringgit, okay, so the effect on the economy that is not, does not mean that it will increase by 10 ringgit. It can be more than 10 ringgit actually, because the money that 10 ringgit can goes to the firm, to the shop, and the shop will maybe use the money for investment, okay, to improve the shop, whatever. So the value to the economy might be more than 10 ringgit, although you spend 10 ringgit, but once the money goes into the system, into the economy, okay, the effect to the economy could be more than 10 ringgit. It can be 50 ringgit, 20 ringgit, or even more than 10 ringgit. Okay, so that is what multiplier effect is in the economy. So whenever government spend, okay, government expenditure, whenever you have investment. So for example, when the government spend 100 million to build a school, for example, so the effect to the economy, it does not mean that the country will get 100 million. The country may get more than 100 million. Why? Because when the government builds school, okay, the impact of the economy by having a new school is more than 100 million because of education effect to the economy and others. Okay, so that is what multiplier effect is. And in your syllabus, we have three multiplier concept. Okay, one is investment multiplier. Okay, second is you also have government multipliers, number two, and the third is the third will be tax multiplier, one, two, and three. Okay. Okay, so you have three concept of multipliers. Okay, one is government, G, government multiplier. Sorry, first is investment multiplier, and then you have government multiplier, and third will be tax multiplier. Okay, the concept of multiplier is very important in macroeconomics. Okay, because you want to see what is the impact of government expenditure, investment expenditure, and also tax, the impact of tax into the Y, into the output level. Okay, so if you recall just now, from the very beginning, okay, I mentioned, okay, you can see here this multiplier concept, okay, and I also mentioned in the very beginning that in the economy you have two concepts. One is leakages, one is injection, the other one is leakage. Okay, I and G are in the same group of injection, meaning money goes in. So just now I mentioned there are three types of multiplier: investment multiplier, government expenditure multiplier, and also tax multiplier. Okay, so you have three types of multiplier in the economy. So I and G, the effect will be positive. I mean because these are in terms of injection. So the formula to calculate ing multiplier will be quite similar, very similar. The only thing that you change is the symbol ing. But the tax multiplier is different because tax multiplier belongs to leakage. So let me go back to the slide just now. Okay. Okay, so if you recall just now, okay, the okay, so the general idea of multiplier is basically using the MPC and MPS that we calculate before. Okay, MPC, if you recall, from the consumption function, MPS is from saving function. So one way to calculate multiplier is 1 divided by MPS or 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. Okay, because MPC is the value of B, the slope of the consumption function. Okay, so basically 1 minus 1 divided by 1 minus MPC is the same thing as MPS. Okay, so so don't get confused. Okay, MPC, okay, is marginal propensity to consume. Okay, and the value in the consumption function is noted as B. Okay, and MPS, okay, in the saving function, we use the notation 1 minus B in the saving function. So basically here, 1 minus 1 minus MPC is the same as MPS. Okay, because once you know MPC, basically you can get MPS. MPS is 1 minus B. So so both of the values will be the same, 1 over MPS or 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. Both are the same value, both are the same thing. If MPS is 0.2, this is also 0.2 because MPC is, if MPC is 0.8, so 1 minus 0.8 is 0.2. And 1 minus MPC is equivalent to MPS lah. Okay, so I hope you get this concept already. Okay, what is MPS and what is MPC? So MPS is 1 minus MPC. So another way to call MPS is also to use 1 minus MPC lah. Okay, so you have 3 types of multiplier. Okay, one is the investment multiplier. Okay, whereby, okay, how do you calculate investment multiplier? Okay, just look at this formula. 1 divided by 1 minus B multiplied by change in income. Change in investment. Okay, 1 divided by 1 minus B. Recall just now the formula of multiplier here. 1 divided by 1 minus MPC, or 1 is this. So this is actually 1 minus B lah. Okay, 1 divided by 1 minus MPC or 1 divided by 1 minus B. Or basically this is the same as 1 divided by MPS. Okay, it's the same thing, but the general formula here, 1 divided by 1 minus B. Okay, so what you see in this slide here for investment multiplier, okay, the change in output. So multiplier is always about the change. Okay, so the formula is always in terms of changes. The symbol triangle here. Okay, so change in output. So whenever you talk about multiplier, it's always about in terms of changes. Okay, new value compared to the old value. Okay, so previously, let's say GDP is 100, now it become 150. So the changes is 50. Okay, so it's always in terms of changes. Okay, so changes in income is equal to the multiplier value 1 over 1 divided by MPS, 1 divided by 1 minus B, okay, whereby B is your MPC, marginal propensity to consume, 1 divided by 1 minus B, multiplied by change in income, change in investment. Okay, so this component here, 1 divided by 1 minus B is what we call as K. K means the investment multiplier. Okay, 1 divided by 1 minus B is basically the 1 divided by 1 minus B. Okay, or you can also call it 1 divided by 1 divided by MPS. It's the same thing. So this part we call it as K. K is the investment multiplier. Okay, so the value of 1 divided by 1 minus B is called K. Okay, so K multiplied by change in investment is equal to the change in income. Because so this is the impact of having investment into the economy multiplied by the multiplier value. So that will be the total effect on the income. Okay, so you recall my example just now. You put 10 ringgit in, if you spend 10 ringgit, if the government build a school that costs 100 million, okay, for example, so if the school costs 100 million is in the form of investment, for example, investment in education. So the impact of that 100 million of that school is more than 100 million to the economy. Okay, so the effect of to the economy, to the output, will be more than 100 million. By how much? You need to multiply by the multiplier value K here. So I mentioned just now, okay, investment and government expenditure both are in terms of injection, okay, or money going in. So when you look at the investment multiplier formula versus the government multiplier formula, both are the same thing. You only change the notation from change in I to change in G. Okay, so because both are the same concept, both are the same under the same category of injection. Money goes into the economy. So for government multiplier and investment multiplier, both are the same formula: 1 divided by 1 minus B, okay, or 1 divided by MPS. Okay, so this part here is called the investment, or whether if you put G, then it becomes K subscript G. If you put I, then it becomes K subscript I. But the formula, this part is the same. 1 divided by 1 minus B multiplied by change in I for investment multiplier. For government multiplier, you divide by, you multiply by change in government expenditure. But this component remains the same. Okay, so for example here, you have this simple example. Assume that government expenditure increased by, okay, if you recall, whenever you want to use multiplier, it must always in the form of changes. Okay, not absolute value, must in term of changes. So the previous value, the current value minus the previous value. The change value is what we want to include in the formula. So if G increased by 1 to 5, okay, by meaning 1 to 5 is already the change value, okay. So, and here you can see what you want to, this information here, you want to know what is the impact to the income, to the change in the income, okay. So the formula is change in Y, okay, divide equals to 1 over 1 minus B. So you can see here B is 0.8. Okay, so 1 divided by 1 minus 0.8 multiply by the G value here, government expenditure multiplier. So increase by 1 to 5. So the change in G is 1 to 5. You solve for this, you get change in income equals to 6 to 5. So 6 to 5 is not the value of income, it's the value of change in income. Please take note that. Okay, so what is the new value of income? So why not? Okay, Y subscript 0 is the old value of income plus the new changes, which is 6 to 5. Okay, so how do you get 2475? So how do you get 2475? So this is for you to solve. Okay, you know that. Okay, you already got the C, you got the I, you got the G, and also you have the T. So where do you use the T value? T is when Y minus T. Okay, if you recall from this previous apa tu tadi, I've shown you one example, C plus I plus G. Yeah, this one, correct. You have the C value just now, you have the I, you also have the G, and Y, you know that Y is Y minus YD is equivalent to Y minus T. So the value of T you substitute, you will get then all of D in term of Y. So you can bring Y to the left. Okay, solve for Y, you get Y equals to 1850. So 1850 here is the value that you need to find here. So in this example, okay, so 2475 actually is the product of Y naught plus 6 to 5. So y naught is not given in this example. So you need to find what is y naught value using the formula that I shown just now, C plus I plus G, okay? So, and y d is equivalent to y minus t. So y minus t, y minus 100. You expand that, you should be able to solve for y0. Once you get y0, you plus with 625, you should get 2475. Okay, so on this part, please do on your own. Okay, because I already shown you the previous example, how to get y, how to get the y value when you are given this, all of this value from the function. We have the consumption function, the G value, autonomous government expenditure, autonomous investment, and also the tax value, 100. So the tax you put into the y function here, y minus t. Okay, just like in this example just now. Okay, in this slide number 50. So use this example to solve for y. Okay, which is in that example just now in the government multiplier will be the y0, the original y value. So once you get the original y value, the y naught, okay, y subscript 0, okay, y subscript 0, you plus with 625, you will get 2475. Okay, so I cannot show you everything, so you need to do this exercise on your own. Okay, finally, before we finish, okay, our discussion for, we don't have much time, but I will try to do some questions and maybe we can continue on next Monday, okay, on some discussion of the questions. Okay, and then I will show you this question first and then let you figure out what will be the solutions. Okay, and then we will discuss the remaining answers on next Monday. Okay, just to prepare you guys for the test number 3 on Saturday next week. Okay, 9th of January. So we have still one more week to go. So I think, okay, the last part will be tax multiplier. So just now I mentioned that government multiplier and also investment multiplier, the formula are the same in the form of the multiplier value is 1 divided by 1 minus b. The only part that you change is the component I here. Change in I, you change to change in G. For government, for investment, it will be multiplied by change in investment. Okay, but for tax multiplier, okay, the formula is what if is b divided by negative. Don't forget the negative sign here. Okay, negative b divided by 1 minus b. This is the multiplier value for tax. Okay, negative b divided by 1 minus b and then multiply by the change in tax. Okay, so this component is different compared to when you are calculating for government multiplier or investment multiplier. Okay, investment or government is just 1 divided by 1 minus b. Okay, so this will be the multiplier for government or investment. For tax multiplier, the multiplier value, the K subscript T, okay, this one is solved by negative B divided by 1 minus B. So B just now, remember, B always refer to MPC. You should know by now, B is, what is B in our formula here? B is marginal propensity to consume, which is basically the slope of the consumption function here. So 0.8 is the MPC, okay, or the B here lah. So you can call it MPC or you can call it. So in the consumption function 0.8 here, okay, 0.8 is what we call the is equals to B or equals to MPC, or also equals to 1 minus 1 minus MPS. 1 minus MPS is MPC lah. Okay. B is always equals to the slope of the consumption function. Okay, so when you want to calculate tax multiplier, so make sure that this component is correct and don't forget the negative sign. sometimes students forget to put a negative sign, so you get a incorrect value. So this one example is very straightforward. Refer to the previous example. Okay, so meaning that the equation is still the same, meaning that you are still referring to this one, 0.8 YD. So our MPC is still 0.8. Okay, so this one is government, 1 divided by 1 minus 0.8. So for tax multiplier, negative V. So it will be negative 0.8 divided by 1 minus 0.8. So this is what you see here. For tax multiplier, 0.8 divided by 1 minus 0.8. So this is the, don't forget the negative sign. Okay, multiply by 80. So where does 80 come from? So this is the question. If government tax collection increase by 80, so increase by, so this is the keyword. Okay, it's always in terms of changes. Okay, not absolute value. The value must be the new minus the old, or the changes. Okay, so increase by 80, meaning 80 is the change value. Multiply by 80, you solve for that. Okay, so the effect on the income is negative 320. Okay, why negative is no problem, because if you recall, tax is a leakage, money goes out. So that's why the value here is negative. When money goes out, the value is should be negative lah. Okay, so okay, here you can see that why not is given as 1850, correct? Okay, just now I mentioned you need to calculate how do you get 2475. So it turns out to be, the next example already give you y0 is 1875. Okay, so that is the value of y0 here. So 1875 you plus, is it correct? 1875 plus 6 to 625. 62 apa pula? 1870, is it? Saya pun dah lupa dah. 1850, sorry. Okay, so 1850 you plus with apa tu? Okay, so okay, 1850 plus with apa tadi? 625 in the original in the government multiplier. Yes, okay. Okay, so you get 2475. Okay, so the value of y0 here is 1850 as what you see here in the tax multiplier value. So how do you get 1850? So, okay, as I mentioned, you can calculate this from the equation just like in the example just now, C plus I plus G. Okay, and YD is Y minus T. So for that, you should be able to get, you should get 1850. Okay, so 1850 is the original income value, plus the changes. The new change is negative 320. So after the government increased tax by 80, income actually, the new income actually, if you see here, tax, the tax is 80 million, but the impact to the economy is decreased by 320, meaning that it's more than 80. That's what multiplier means. The government increased tax by 80, but the overall impact to the income reduced by a negative 320. So meaning income, the output value or the GDP reduced by 320, although the tax is only 18. That's what the concept of multiplier is. Okay, so the new income value or Y1 is the original income minus the new the changes in the income, which is 320. So you get the new value. Okay, so that is basically the whole thing about chapter number 10. Okay, about multiplier. So I will I will show you the slides for, the questions for discussion. Okay, we will discuss maybe one or two if you got the time. Okay, but Uh, okay. So, okay. So I will share my screen now on the. So this is basically. Okay, so for next week, for next Monday, okay, so we will spend maybe around maybe 20 to perhaps half an hour, okay, to discuss on these questions here, okay, for your basically a revision for chapter 10. Okay, so this is the questions, okay, so I will record this thing, okay, and put it on the YouTube as usual. So at question, so the first question will be uh, okay, an income level of 0, consumption expenditure is 3500, so saving is what? 0, negative. So if you recall, look at the saving function just now. The autonomous, the value of A is negative A. Okay, so you should get the idea. Okay, next question, you are given the consumption function. So MPS, okay. So MPS 0.9 is what? Okay, is it MPS or MPC? So if you got that value, what is MPS? So you should be able to figure out. Okay, 28. The saving schedule shows the relation between saving to what? Okay. So if you do not know, just Google this. Okay, or you can just try to make an intelligent guess. Okay, sometimes. You can just Google this or refer to your notes if there is any. Okay, planned injections are less than leakages. Output will be what? So this is in your slide. I did not go through every single slide in the, but I believe this is part of the in the Arnold sections. Okay, in the slide here, when injections is more than planned injections is more than the what happened to the economy. Okay, so go and find in the slide. Okay, I would it is somewhere there. Okay, here. Okay, so some is somewhere on the plan investment. Okay, so find somewhere in your slides. Okay, that this answer is in your slide there. Okay, and then what is autonomous consumption? Okay, and then next. Okay, saving here. What is the MPC? Okay, if save is change in saving is 1,000 and change in income is 5,000, what is MPC? So just now I mentioned that how do you calculate MPS? How do you calculate MPC? MPC is change in consumption divided by change in income. But here you are given change in saving. So basically the formula to calculate MPS is the same. So MPS is basically change in saving divide by change in income. Okay, so once you get MPS, you can calculate MPC because MPC is 1 minus MPS. Okay, change in saving divide by change in income. Okay, figure out how to solve for this. And then 32, what is an increase in autonomous saving will shift what? Okay, A, B, C, or D. So refer to your slides whereby I already plot the, you can see this, in a three sector economy, whenever you mention about saving, okay, then you are referring to the three sector economy. graph. Okay, this which one is it? Okay, it's something like this. Okay, so when saving increase, okay, what happened to this graph? Shift to the left or shift to the right? So what will be your new output value? Okay, so that is what is required in the graph. Okay, that means I think another graph will be, yeah, something like this. Whether the graph goes up or graph goes down. Okay, so when so the question is when saving increase. Okay, so does the graph goes up or goes down? Okay, and then you have this, suppose consumption is 80 MPC, so then saving at income level of 3,000 is what? Okay, again, this is around using the whether you are using the consumption function or the saving function. The saving function is negative A plus 1 minus B y D. Okay, so go back to the slide where I mentioned consumption function and also saving function. If you want to find saving, then you need to use the saving function. Okay, in a closed economy with no government means two-sector economy. So C plus I equals to what? Okay, so this is also already mentioned several times. Okay, and then question 35. Consumption 20,000 when income is 30,000, MPC equals to 0.8. So when income increase to 40,000, consumption is what? Okay, so again, you can use the formula of change in C over change in Y to calculate the MPC and try to solve for this. Okay. So basically, most of the question is about MPC, MPS, consumption function, saving function. Okay. The same thing here, you are given the MPC. So this is about multiplier. If government purchase increase by, so government purchase meaning you're talking about government multiplier. Tax increase by 200, this is tax multiplier. So use the tax multiplier formula and also the government multiplier formula to solve for this. Okay, we already discussed that one just now. Okay, and then again this one, how will our AE and output change if there is an increase in tax? Okay, by 90 million. Okay, so look at the, so first question 38. There is a 5 billion increase in investment. If multiplier is 5 billion increase in investment will cause output to increase by what? So this is about the investment multiplier question. Okay, and then the last few questions, investment is what? Is it an injection or is it a leakage? Okay, I already mentioned the leakages and withdrawal just now. What is leakages? What is injections? Okay, and then question number 40. You have this planned investment here. So I will just, you can refer back this question in the video. Okay, and then this question here, you have this diagram. Okay, and then calculate what is the new output level. Okay, using the C plus I plus G. Okay, and finally, these questions, okay, we have the output level of this, the MPC, and then the new value, what will be the, so this is also using the government multiplier. Okay, and then 43, a decrease in tax will have great impact output of what? Okay, smaller MPC, larger MPC, smaller APC, larger APC. Okay, so we'll discuss all of these questions next Monday. Okay, so do not wait for my answer. Okay, so